Hello, fellow YouTubers. I am your host, Stoner's Journal, and today we're going to be talking about the first time that my mom found my weed stash. So, I'm going to start this off with how I bought this weed. I remember exactly, it was the very first time I bought weed. It made me scared for the rest of my life. Well, it's been 2.5 years so far since that day, but so this is how I got it. My good friend, he's actually Chris's brother. I'm not gonna mention his name though. This is how the deal went down. I asked him for a gram. So the next day in school. By the way, this is like 2.5 years ago, so he's already graduated. But yeah. So this was during the school day. It was about 2 o'clock p.m. This was fifth period. Out of 6 periods, this was the fifth. My theater class. So I was going on my way to class, and he's standing right outside the door, and he's not in my class though. So this is like during class transition. Everyone's moving around the halls. He's just waiting in front of the class for me. So I go up to him, and he's like, "Hey, come in the bathroom with me in like a minute." So I go inside, drop my stuff off. I ask my teacher if I can go to the bathroom. He says, "Yeah, sure." I sign out a pass. I go to the bathroom real quick. He's already like a couple feet up of me, so it doesn't look suspicious. So we go inside the bathroom. There's a guy taking a piss at the urinal, which made it really awkward for me. Cause he turns around and he sees what we're doing, but he doesn't. He never said anything, so we were good. But anyhow, so I handed this guy the money, $20, and then he gave me the gram. And this was the first time, guys. Remember, this is the first time I bought weed, so I didn't really know like how to keep it from smelling or anything. I didn't even know how strong it was gonna smell. So I just stuffed it in my pocket. And then it was a pretty hot day, and I had been sweating. Yes, sweating. So I had the stash, the little 1 gram stash in my left pocket. I went into class, and mind you, Chris is sitting next to me. And I'm just like, I didn't know what weed was supposed to smell like. This was my first time buying it. And I was like, dude, it smells like skunk in here. What is that fucking smell? And Chris is like, oh, yeah, that's strange. So then I go to smell my hand because it had been sitting on my pocket for a while. And I just put my hand up to my face to like scratch it or something. And I'm like, whoa, it smells so bad. And I realize, oh shit, that's the weed. So then I'm like, hey Chris, dude, oh my god, this weed smells so strong. And he's like, oh my god, yes it does. So luckily we had to go outside that day to like practice some Oedipus play or something. We were reading a script basically between groups, and luckily everyone in my group smoked weed, so they knew exactly how to stash it and where to hide it. And they told me immediately, Kim, put the damn thing in your shoe. So I took off my shoe, I took off my sock, I put the weed in the very tip by my toes, I put my sock back on, I put my shoes back on. And mind you, there is a security camera outside right where I was doing this. Yeah, so my buddy, who shall not be named just for privacy's sake, he was standing in front of the camera so I wouldn't get busted. So the period went by. Once the weed was in my shoe, we just kept going on with the Oedipus play. And then my teacher came out, and I was like, oh shit, he might smell it. So I kept my distance away from him. And I was just acting natural. Everyone was covering for me. They were fine. Great friends. You should definitely have a squad if you're gonna have that kind of experience like I did. But yeah. Oh my god, and the worst part was in my shoes, my feet are the sweatiest part of my body. So by the end of the day, the weed smelled like shit, but so that's not even the worst case yet. I had one more period to go until the end of the day, until dismissal. But that's not it. After that class, I still had a scheduled parent-teacher meeting because I was failing a class. I still had that to go through. And then I had theater rehearsal to go through because we were doing a production at that time. It was around autumn, 2 years ago, autumn. So all through sixth period, which was my US history class, I sat all the way in the front of the class with my good friends, Griffin and Bryce. My teacher sat all the way in the back. Luckily, he had like nasal problems, so he couldn't really smell anything. That was good for me. So sixth period went by, and my foot smelled so bad. I mean, I could smell it so strong. Griffin could smell it. Anyone else in the room who smoked weed could probably smell it when they walked by me. So yeah, this shot looks at me, so I knew they knew. So finally, it was dismissal. I went to the auditorium in the school because our drama department pretty much owns the auditorium and stage. It's pretty much ours. We take care of it. We set up all the lights and sound. But anyhow, I took my backpack to the auditorium because everyone just left their stuff in there at the end of the day for rehearsal. Oh yeah, I took my shoe off. I took my sock off. I threw my sock in my backpack. I left my backpack in the auditorium seats with all the other stuff that people left there. So I went to the parent-teacher meeting with one sock missing, but my shoe still on. So it felt really off balance. I don't know. I guess I had a thick sock that day or something. I went through the whole parent-teacher meeting just so paranoid because you could still smell it on my foot. I don't know how anyone else didn't. There were like 3 other teachers, really nice teachers. They all really adore me. Like I do good in class. Honestly, I just have trouble handing in homework. I'm still working on that, by the way. But yeah, so I got through the meeting. Everything went fine. My dad went home because I still had rehearsal. And yeah, for the rest of rehearsal, I was just there worrying if anyone would walk by my bag and just still smell it, you know? So yeah, that was it for that. So the actual show night, which was like 2 nights later, I believe, I still hadn't smoked it. And I don't know why. I was so stupid. I didn't smoke it still. So I brought it to the show with me. And we all left our bags in the art room, which was like the class next to our class. It was a Saturday night. And I thought, you know what, I might just save it for the cast party. Because we always have little parties with all the cast members after the shows. And the very last show of the week, which was that Saturday. So I saved it in my backpack. And I left my bag in the room, which, you know, by the end of the show night just totally reeked of weed. And I don't know how anybody just did not smell it. Or maybe they did, it just didn't feel like going through like, oh, who brought weed to school, blah, 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 calling the cops, you know. Thank God that didn't happen. So I went to the cast party. Everyone knew I was bringing this, by the way. Well, not everyone, just the people I told. But so we went to my friend's house, and his parents were still home. They were supposed to go out that night or something, but they were still there. So, you know, my backpack reeks like hell. And my friend Emily, who also graduated by now, but she smokes too, and she had a little pack of Tic Tacs, and she just, you know, took my gram and just put it in there so it would smell like mints instead. And it worked pretty well. And we were planning to smoke that little gram then between like 4 or 5 people, even though that wouldn't be much, but we never got to it. So I took the weed back home. I still hadn't smoked it the Sunday. And Monday, I went to school, right? The whole day goes fine. I'm just like chilling. Everything's going fine. Normal day. I come back home to find that my mom had cleaned my room. And mind you, I left my stash in one of the drawers in my shelf. And you could not smell anything because it was in an airtight can. No odor could possibly escape this can. But my mom, being a clean freak, she had to raid my whole room just trying to clean it, you know? And she comes across this can in my drawer. And mind you, I had also an empty beer bottle in this drawer with a lighter, a few pipes, and yeah, this little pill bottle with a fucking gram of weed in it. I had to give the Tic Tac pack back to Emily, so I didn't have that anymore, so I used a pill bottle. And my mom found that. And yeah, so I got back home. My room was clean as fuck. I went to look for my stash. It wasn't there anymore. Neither was the beer bottle, the lighter, the pipe, anything. So I went to my dad's office, and everything was just sitting there on his desk. And I was like, oh my fucking shit, I'm in so much trouble. So then my mom asked me, Kim, what was this little thing in the pill bottle there? And I'm like, that's marijuana. And I was just like freaking out so much. I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh shit, I'm going to jail. I'm gonna be in so much trouble with my family. My dad, then he'd like interrogates me, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, this is taking forever. He asked me questions for an hour, pinning me down, asking who I bought it from, where I got it, like how much it cost. And I was like, shit. That's all that was going through my mind. So my dad decides to call the cops on me, right? So he's like, he puts it on speaker so I can hear it. My mom's there too. We're all 3 just in this room calling the cops. And my dad's like, yeah, so my son has marijuana on him. What should we possibly do? And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna go to jail. This is over for me. Goodbye, guys. I love you so much. And the cop on the phone sounded like an actual pretty nice woman. And she was like, Well, we could put him through juvenile court and make him go to jail for a week or two. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to. No, 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 no. So my dad was like, okay. Going through his thought process. And oh my gosh, guys, this is such a nightmare to just think about. My dad decided not to get the cops to come over just to teach me a lesson, you know. And then my mom took my stash, and I don't know what she did. She told me she flushed it down the toilet, and that's probably what she would do. But I never saw that stash again. I told my parents I had never smoked before, which was true. I had never bought it before, but I had to give the name to my dad. And after that, my parents met up with his parents. And, you know, they're huge pot smokers too. And my parents do not like them to this day. And so I'm always like sneaking out, like hanging out with Chris and his brother. Very cool guys. They're really chill. Yeah, so ever since that day, since that first time buying weed and getting caught with it was such a traumatic event for me. It was such a bad experience. Like, if I could go back in time and slap myself in the face, tell myself not to put that thing in that fucking drawer, I would so do it. Guys, I'm not encouraging you guys to go out and buy weed and like hide it from your parents, you know. Actually, myself, I'm thinking about telling my parents in a few weeks or so that I do smoke marijuana. You know, it's better for you to tell them so they know instead of them finding you smoking it, you know. It's just for the better of it. Yeah, ever since that event happened, I have been extra careful of how, where, when I buy my weed and where I stash it. So it's been going on for 2.5 years. Nothing has happened yet. Knock on some wood so I don't get jinxed. So that's the story of when I first bought my weed and how my mom found it within 4 days. Definitely not looking forward to another time like that. So guys, I definitely hope you enjoyed this story. I know I didn't, but looking back at it now, it is pretty funny. So like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel to show support, guys. And I will be out. See ya. Peace.